So hair oiling has been around for centuries, but modern science does show us that putting oil directly on your scalp may not be as healthy as you think. I've done several videos about where I oil and where I do not, and it seems to have become a topic of controversy somehow. I really don't understand why, because it's all backed by science, which a lot of people love, but it's also been proven by nature, which I personally love. I'm going to tell you why I don't oil my scalp, the mistakes we're doing, and then what I actually do. So let's get into it. Number one, the first mistake I would say is simply oiling the scalp. No, guys, I just don't believe in oiling the scalp. I've talked about it on this channel before. The only things I believe on ever putting on my scalp is like a water tonic if you have a watered down herb. And yes, I have interviewed lots of people in the past, including one of the world's top herbal experts who owns his own herb museum on Crete Island. Here you're going to see some footage of me talking with Mr. George. Every time I mention something about putting oil on my scalp to somebody who has been studying herbs for decades, they always laugh at me and call me Americana. Don't be offended. It's just a term they use for like westernized thinking because we're just so inundated with marketing. But what he really meant to say was use your common sense, and common sense would tell you that adding an oil onto your scalp that already develops what nature wants you to have and what science tells us to use, which is sebum, is really nonsensical. So that's my opinion. And if you want more references, please check out the Blow Up Professor. He owns a hair salon. He has nothing to do with herbs, but he does own a hair salon out of Florida. And I noticed in one of his videos, he had the same sentiments as I did with regards to oiling your scalp and then washing it out. He too mentioned sebum. So if you like that style of video, and I do recommend watching him, he has a lot of great information. So if you like that style of video of like a hairstylist, a professional talking about it, definitely watch him, because he does mention that oil on your scalp doesn't make sense since we produce our own oil, and our own oil is an indicator of also when to wash our hair. And a buildup of that oil, as I was saying, is just not good. Remember that sebum has testosterone, it's part testosterone, and that can convert to DHT. And DHT is the antithesis of what we want when growing our hair, because that is what can cause to hair issues like thinning and then a lack of growth. And then the whole point that we want is to have beautiful growth with our follicles being nice and clean and sprouting new hairs.
Washing your hair, believe it or not, is a very important step in your hair loss journey. You should be washing your hair more frequently. Patients of mine are always surprised when I encourage them to wash every single day. Now, if you can't wash every single day, every other day, or at least once every 3 days. Now, sometimes patients of mine have hairstyles that do not allow you to wash that frequently. I would just encourage you to try. Why? Because you get a buildup of sebum around the hair follicle. The sebum can be rich in testosterone, which converts to DHT, and DHT miniaturizes hair follicles. You also get a buildup of dandruff. A clean scalp is a great environment for new hair growth and for preventing further hair loss.
So it's really, really common sense why I don't oil my scalp. And the only things I have ever put on my scalp, I'm not talking about shampoos or anything like that. I'm talking about anything besides sebum, is a natural hair tonic, like that's been watered down, like a stinging nettle or a rosemary extract. And even those studies are not 100% conclusive, but because it's water, that I know will not clog my follicle. And I'm going to put here on the screen the rosemary extract spray that I use. That's 99% natural. And I'm going to tell you what I felt with this. I did not see new hair grow. Do you know what I felt? I felt my hair more dense. And the only reason I was using this was because I did so much research after the C19. And of course I was going through the TE, and I was freaking out because it was very, very new and nobody was talking about it at that time because it was a newer variant. So I met a pharmacist in Cyprus. That's the country island of Cyprus, and she recommended this tonic. And what I felt was, guys, exactly what I'm telling you now. My hair felt more dense. Now, psychologically, when you're going through a traumatic experience like that, it is psychologically beneficial. So did I see new hairs sprout? No. So my fix here would be, when you're skipping the hair oiling, like on the scalp, focus on really just stimulating your scalp. And I love to do this. I do talk about this a lot. I do have some oil in my hair right now because tomorrow would be my hair wash day. So I would just use the pads of my fingers. And what I want to do here is like a gentle massage. And I would really just want to keep the blood flow healthy. And I don't want to have any clogged follicles. So I'm spreading out that oil before my hair wash day tomorrow. The hair feels nice and I want to have some nice greasiness in it, and I'll have fresh hair tomorrow after I wash it out with a very gentle shampoo. Mistake number 2 when it comes to oiling. So now that we have our set point that we're not going to be oiling our scalp, we're going to be using our natural sebum to oil our scalp. The second part would be, well, where are we putting the oil? We're putting the oil on our mids to ends, most likely our ends here, right? Because we're not getting our natural oils down here, and no matter how long you wait, I just don't believe they're going to ever reach here. And also the ends, because they're cut off, they have holes on the bottom. They're not attached to anything else, so they really need your extra TLC. I notice even when I get my hair cut, okay, it feels good, but sooner rather than later, my ends start to feel dry. And I take good care of my hair, like I'm very passionate about it, and I do oil the ends, but you know what? There's nothing to hang on to. So naturally, they are going to get drier. So this is the area that I would oil. And once again, we don't want the brittle ends, because the brittle and dry ends is what's going to split. And then we have those dreaded split ends, which you should never split like this, by the way. You should cut them. So we want to make sure that our ends are like as moisturized and hydrated as possible. So what type of oil should we be using? I've talked about the oils quite a bit that I really like, but I love the cold pressed grapeseed oil, the cold pressed argan oil. And then if I go into like big companies, a Joico Blonde Left is nice. I like to stick with the clearer oils. An Olaplex 7, a Kerastase is very good as well. And so I really treat it like my skincare. I'm not going to add extra hydration to areas that are oily. I'm going to add it to areas that are more prone to being dry. The third mistake you may be doing is just adding too much oil. Remember, the more that's in your hair, the more you need to add to your hair to remove it in the shower, meaning when you're washing your hair. So meaning if you have too much product in your hair, you're going to have to use more cleansing agents. Sulfates are cleansing agents, and there are lots of cleansing agents that don't have sulfates that are a lot more gentle, like they are derived from cocoa, they are derived from coconut, they are derived from amino acids and corn and sugar extracts. The point is, they're still cleansing agents, and you don't want to be extra cleansing your hair when you should just be using it for your scalp. And no, conditioner won't work here, because conditioner conditions your hair. It doesn't cleanse it. So the less product you have in it, the easier it's going to be to cleanse. Remember, if you've got your hair dripping wet with oil, you're going to need a cleansing surfactant to get rid of it. And sidebar, a friend of mine was told, we're talking at a party last year, and she told me that she was told to put warm olive oil all over her hair, and she couldn't get it out. So she had to use heavy sulfates to get it out. What do you think that would do to your hair? Not a good idea. I would never recommend putting olive oil in your hair. Straight olive oil, trust me, I have spoken with the world's leading experts in olive oil. Olive oil is incredible. Natural olive oil, extra virgin olive oil is incredible for consumption for your body, not topically. Topically, it needs to be heavily filtered, and you will read the back of ingredients that a lot of the products that you're using will have olive oil. I'm going to put the scientific name here that you may see in it. May have a little extract, but that's not pure olive oil. If you take the olive oil that I use for my cooking show, or just all pure good extra virgin olive oil, you slap that on your face, it's comedogenic. That would not work for my skin type. It would not work for my scalp, and it would not work for my hair. So don't get confused, because something is good, it doesn't mean that it's good for everything. So you need to be cognizant of that. Remember, I think the takeaway in this point is the more product you put in, the more you have to put in to take it out, and you're stripping away your hair's natural balance. So all you need is a little bit of oil. We're talking when your hair is clean now. We're not talking about a pre-wash day oil. I will get to that by the end of this video. But on an average day, like your average hair day, we're talking about adding a few drops of oil to your ends, working them up to your mids. That's really all you need, because after the shower, we have reconditioned our hair. We're just sealing in the moisture. We've reconditioned it with leave-in conditioner, okay? That's all you need. Hair growth comes from within, and that's why you need to speak to your doctor about that. Like anytime I had issues, I always went to my doctor and they said, okay, from your blood test, we can see this vitamin is okay, this vitamin is missing. And that's how you really find out what you need to put in your body. And then that will reflect on the outside. Your follicles will respond to blood flow, hormones, nutrients, not topical oil. And again, please consult with your doctors, but this is what I know from experience, what I was taught from my doctors, and that oiling my scalp is not going to feed it. What's going to feed me is actual nutrients. And if we're talking oils, of course, olive oil has the phenolic compounds. I've talked about that in previous videos. Phytonutrients, phyto being the Greek word for plant. Fish oils, the omega-3s, have done absolute wonders for my skin, for my hair, lubricating my eyes. So when I'm talking about like good nutrition, this is the kind of nutrition that has helped me. But once again, you need to do what your body needs. So that's why you need to see your doctor and find out, if you do have an issue, what is missing. So my fix here to support hair growth in this category would be to make sure that my diet, like for me, my diet needs to be nutrient rich. I know that I need my omega-3s. I know that I need my healthy fats. I've added a lot of coconut oils in my diet, fish oils, red meats, things of that nature is what works for me. But you could be vegan, you could have allergies, so that's why you need to figure out with your nutritional regimen what works. But when I say it's from the inside out and it's not topical, again, that's from my experience, and I don't see any literature or studies that say that adding an oil topically is going to feed my scalp. So in conclusion, what do I do instead? I simply do not oil my scalp, ever. Why? Because I want it clean, I want it balanced, I want it able to self-regulate naturally and do what nature gave it the power to do. Produce beautiful sebum to regulate my scalp, and when I do see that excess oil, to wash it out. And then for my case, to wash it out with something very gentle. Now here is how I do my pre-oil washing, which once again has become so controversial, and I really don't know why. I've been doing it for years. I adopted this probably 5 years ago. It's really done wonders for my hair. So it's nothing extreme, because I don't believe in doing anything extreme with my hair. It's simply on my wash day, 10 to 30 minutes prior, I use one of my favorite, aka as much natural oil as possible. So either a cold pressed Moroccan argan oil or a cold pressed grapeseed oil, and I'm doing my ends, just going up to my mids. This is going to protect against protein loss from washing your hair with shampoos. Of course, the shampoo has the cleansing agents in it, so it's going to protect the rest of my hair. It's going to reduce friction. It's going to protect the rest of my hair from the protein loss. It's going to reduce friction. It's going to help keep the cuticle smooth. And if you live somewhere with hard water, I really find that it makes a massive difference. This pre-hair wash oil for me is a dream. When I'm at the salon, for example, and I get my roots done, I just have like my regular oils on my hair, so I haven't done my pre-oil wash routine. What a difference. It's just a massive difference for me. Or if I'm somewhere and I can't get to that oil, what a difference. What it's doing, it's coating the hair. I'm going into the shower. The shampoo is on my scalp. It's running down my hair. Then I'm conditioning. Then I'm masking. And you think, okay, I'm not going to have any tangles. Man, that oil does such a good job. When I am out of there, I have barely any tangles if I have pre-oiled. If I have not pre-oiled, it can be like a nest for me. It really, really helps me, protects my hair. If you have not tried this, I would say start off with like a really lightweight oil. I love grapeseed oil because it's got the vitamin E, the linoleic acid in it. I slap the grapeseed oil all over my body. I mean, from here down. And I have the most sensitive skin. I have issues with body sensitivities and histamine issues. So I feel everything all the time. And I'm telling you that the cold pressed grapeseed oil, I forgot the term, the cold pressed grapeseed oil has been so beneficial for my skin. It's been beneficial for my hair. It's such a lightweight, beautiful oil. And as soon as you put it on, it soaks it in right away. So that's what I like. And then my post-wash oil is, of course, as I mentioned earlier, after I've done my leave-in conditioner, okay, my hair is wet, done my leave-in conditioner, I am sealing in everything with the oil, and I'll choose a very lightweight oil. At this point in time, I like to use more of a bond sealer like an Olaplex or a as I mentioned, like an Australia 11 or an elixir from number 4 or the K18. I just like to have something a little bit more reparative. So I will seal everything in, and I like to do this when the hair is still damp. So in the blast blow dry process, seal in the moisture, helps tame the frizz, adds some natural shine. And then of course, when your cuticle is smoother, the light will reflect from it and your hair will look more of like that glass hair type. It'll look shinier, smoother, more healthy. You have less breakage, less split ends because they won't be dry or brittle. Your hair will be softer, just smoother in texture. We talked about the extra protection for the cuticle. Remember, we've got the 3 layers of the hair and the cuticle is the outer layer like the shingles. So once again, we're sealing in all that moisture. We've got that smoother cuticle, we've got that frizz control, and we're doing this all without a ton of products and without weighing down our hair. Look, if your hair can take more products, I suppose you could do that. But again, I'm only offering my information here based on my personal experiences. So when people get angry and they say, why are you saying pre-oil, post-oil, etc., this is what's proven to work for me. It's really helped me repair my hair, get my hair back strong, healthy, longer, to grow efficiently and effectively. So remember, in the end, you need to adjust everything to fit your specific hair and your specific hair type. I hope this was helpful, everybody. I hope I answered a lot of inquiries you may have had, but of course, any inquiries are always welcome in the description box below. Remember, this is all my opinion, not selling anything here, just sharing information that has worked for me and hopefully help somebody out there that needs it. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.